By eliminating carbs from your diet, essentially that's what you're doing to your body. What's going on, Fit Fam? Thank you so much for clicking back onto my channel. For those of you who are new, maybe clicked on this channel based on the title of the video, my name is Krysten Novak. I'm an online coach for a company called THENATTYHOUR. But if you clicked on this channel, primarily what this channel is about is fitness and nutrition and lifestyle advice. So today was a requested video. I wanted to discuss it. I thought it was a really good topic. As you can tell from the title of this video today, we are going to talk about how you can actually lose weight successfully without having to cut all of your carb intake. The reason why cutting carbs is typically a pretty popular option when it comes to losing weight is because it's not essential for us, but that doesn't mean that it's not beneficial. Having a good amount of carbs is actually fuel for us. It's going to allow us to push more and to progress in the gym. Ultimately, if we're getting stronger in the gym, it's actually going to increase our metabolic rate, which is going to lead to lean muscle mass. I'm getting from a lot of people, if they're wanting to lose weight, they're actually cutting out a lot of carbs. And while this does work, that doesn't actually mean that it's going to be sustainable. If you think about it, if you're consuming a very low amount of carbs, and yes, maybe you drop a bunch of weight, but can you really find yourself consuming that same amount of carbs going forward after you've reached your ideal body weight? Probably not. So if it's not sustainable long term, typically the results you achieve are not going to be maintainable as well. So I know what you're probably thinking is, well, what other options are there? Well, I think what people get confused with is the fact that they think that cutting out carbs is the actual reasoning for the weight loss that they're seeing, but they're not actually losing weight from the lack of carbs in their diet. They're losing weight from the caloric deficit. So at the end of the day, all these different methods out there that seem to be confusing a lot of people in regards to losing weight, every single one of them are the same in the fact that they create a caloric deficit. The only way to actually lose weight is by creating a caloric deficit. So if you're wanting to lose weight and you're confused by all these methods out there, it's important to find a method that is going to be sustainable for you. If you can find a diet that you can stick to long term, and by long term I don't mean 3 months or 6 months, I mean 1 year, 5 years, and maybe even for the rest of your life. If you can find a program like that, and believe me, they are out there, that works for you, that is the diet that you want to be on. So it's all about trying to find the program that works for you and your lifestyle, not based on what the latest fads are. Something that is very hot right now is the Ketosis Diet, and a lot of people seem to be demonizing carbohydrates when it comes to this. So I just want to quickly clear that up for you guys today. So firstly, what I want to do is I want to quickly show you guys how you can set up your macronutrients based on your total caloric intake for a balanced diet and for a ketosis diet. So let's start out with just more of a balanced diet. Typically what I recommend is for you, if you are wanting to lose weight and maybe you do want to enjoy a little bit more carbs into your diet, honestly I recommend just starting to track. Download a macro counting app. I use MyMacros Plus. You can follow me at Krysten Novak if you want to creep some of the foods that I've been eating. Other people really seem to like MyFitnessPal. That is another option for you as well. I do have some reserves when it comes to MyFitnessPal. I'll link a video that I did not too long ago somewhere right there, and you can go check that out as my reasonings why I encourage you to be a little bit more reserved when it comes to using MyFitnessPal. So basically you just want to use one of these apps just to allow you to track your total calories every single day. Something important to note here is that our metabolisms crave consistency. 90% of the time all of us are significantly under eating, and we are doing it on an irregular basis, where one day we might be eating 3,000 calories, the next day maybe 2,000 calories, and then the following day maybe 800 calories. So we're going up and down like this. Our metabolism really has no idea what you're doing. By simply just tracking the foods that you're eating and trying to ensure that you get a consistent amount every single day, typically that does result in you being in an active fat loss stage without even having to try. Most of my clients, when they come to me, I put them into a maintenance level and they actually start losing weight. Why? Because they're consistently eating the same amount of food every single day. So over the next 2 weeks, if you're looking to try to determine your own macronutrients for fat loss, I recommend that you just take the next 2 weeks. Yes, I know that seems like a lifetime, but really it's just 2 weeks. It's not that long, and I don't want you to change anything in regards to your diet. All I want you to do is take the food that you're eating and input it into your phone. That's it. That's all I want you to do in regards to your nutrition. Step number 2 is I want you to actually get a body weight scale. I want you to actually step on that every single day. This isn't something that I recommend doing in the future. This is just simply to help you determine what your maintenance calories are for the beginning process. So when you step on the scale every single day, you want to make sure that you are under the same conditions as possible, making sure that you've gone to the bathroom and you haven't eaten anything yet and you're on an empty stomach. So making sure that you're under the same conditions when you're taking your weight. I want you to record what your total calories are and your morning body weight is every single day for the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you guys. You can handle that. After the 2 weeks, next what I want you to do is average out your body weight and average out your caloric intake. We basically want to see what average amount of calories you've taken in for the last 2 weeks and how your body is adjusting to that. If you find that you are maintaining weight just on average, no crazy fluctuations higher than maybe 10 pounds, if you're seeing fluctuations of between 5 to 7 pounds, that's totally okay. We can assume that you're maintaining weight at this point. What you want to do after that is basically determine if you're maintaining weight, gaining weight, or losing weight. So for simplicity purposes, we are going to assume for this example that you are maintaining weight. If you find that you are gaining weight, I want you to take your average calories and reduce it by 500. If you find that you are losing weight, I want you to take your average calories and add 500. Depending on your situation, that is going to be your starting point calories. Now, after the 2 weeks, once you've determined your starting point calories, we are going to actually split up your starting point calories into your macronutrients because your macronutrients actually equal your total calories. Fun fact. Not a lot of people know that. So macronutrient number 1 that we will be starting with is your protein. Depending on if you're trying to gain weight, maintain weight, or lose weight, there is different threshold amounts. So just for convenience, all I want you to do for your protein intake is to have 1 gram per pound of body weight. For our example here, we are gonna assume that your starting point calories was 2,000 calories. Now let's say that we're about 120 pounds. We wanna maybe lose 5 to 10 pounds, but we're gonna keep our starting point weight. So with us being at 120 pounds, that means that our protein intake for the day is gonna be 120 grams. After that, we're gonna actually move on to determining our fat allotment for the day. Again, it depends on your goals, but for simplicity purposes, I recommend making sure that you are consuming at least 30 to 40% of your calories from fat. So for simplicity purposes, let's use 30%. What we're gonna do is basically, we've already determined 120 grams of protein. We're gonna times that by 4, which gives us 480 calories of protein. We are gonna minus that 480 calories from the 2,000 to determine the calories we have left over that need to be allocated to fats and to carbs. So we have approximately 1,500 calories left over. So from this, we're gonna times that by 30% to determine the number of calories that is gonna come from fat. That's gonna equal 456 calories from fat. Because there is 9 calories in 1 gram of fat, we're gonna divide this 456 by 9 to get our total fat allotment, which equals to approximately 51 grams of fat. All we have to do now is allocate the remaining calories left to our carb allotment. We're gonna take the 1520 and minus it from the 456 to determine the total calories we have left that needs to be allocated to our carbs. That is equal to 1,064 calories for carbs. All we have to do now is simply divide this by 4, and that's gonna give us our carb intake, which equals approximately 265 grams. So that's our macros based on 2,000 calories. We have 120 grams of protein, 51 grams of fat, and 265 grams of carbs. Now, I know what so many people are probably thinking if you've clicked on this video because you're afraid of carbs. 265 grams of carbs? Are you kidding me? How the hell am I supposed to lose weight on that amount of carbs? Like I mentioned before, our metabolisms crave consistency. You want to be consistent with this every single day. I promise you, you will start to see the changes that you're looking for. For those who are in a ketosis diet, basically all that they're going to do is change their carb allotment to a lower amount and change their fat allotment to a much higher amount if they're doing it properly. So based on, again, 2,000 calories a day, you want to have approximately 10% of your calories going towards your carb total. So this is going to be about 30 grams of carbs, meaning that we have to reallocate the remaining that we already allocated to our carbs to our fat. So that's going to actually bump up our fat amount to 155 grams of fat. That's a lot of fat. I don't think I've ever eaten more than 80 grams of fat. I couldn't imagine consuming that much fat. But hey, some people like to have higher fat diets, and if that works for you, by all means, go for it. But at the end of the day, the end result, you guys, the fat loss is going to be the same. Why? Because all we're doing here is creating a caloric deficit. That's it. Yes, do you know what? Typically, when it comes to the ketosis diet, you will see quicker fat loss in the beginning, but a lot of this is just water. It does make it a little bit easier too because it does help with your satiety, but at the end of the day, you gotta do what works good for you. So that's how I would set up get your macronutrients for a fat loss diet, and you still have actually a pretty good amount of carbs. So at the end of the day, you guys, you actually don't have to cut out all of your carbs in order for you to see results. Don't be afraid of carbs. I mean, it's definitely fuel for our body. You wouldn't drive your car on empty or without doing an oil change. By eliminating carbs from your diet, essentially that's what you're doing to your body. For those who are out there, maybe you are coming off of a ketosis diet. I know so many people right now basically having a really bad rebound when they're coming out of ketosis. If you are, you want to make sure that you control your calories still. So many people will just completely go off the wagon, stop tracking and consuming basically everything in sight. And what that's doing is it's causing people to eat a lot of the carbs that they have been craving, and they're seeing a lot of fat gain, and they're basically saying that the fat gain is from the increase in carbs, when actually that's not really it. It's from putting yourself into a caloric surplus. So if you are coming out of the ketosis diet and you do want to start implementing things back into your diet, you need to implement what is known as a recovery diet or reverse diet, meaning you still need to track your calories and slowly add carbs back into your diet, and you will see that you are able to actually maintain your results from your fat loss journey. That's all I got for you today. Like I said, this was a highly requested video. I really appreciate the person who requested this video. If you guys found this helpful, please comment down below. I would love to hear back from you guys. I always love hearing from you guys. If you're new to my channel and you want to see more videos like this going forward in the future, by all means hit that subscribe button, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.